It doesn't appear as though genuinely she's doing great. Investigate. Music One insider near the sickly star said Wendy originally went into the clinic around 14 days prior. She was delivered momentarily last end of the week, and she went right back in her sibling. So her sibling is pummeling the chief for marking her up to an unscripted TV drama, despite the fact that she isn't in the right edge right now. You could say Wendy Williams' life is something of an oddity on the grounds that while the style is practically unending, the celebrated television character has been moving starting with one difficult issue, then on to the next. And presently it's her child giving us the tea on how she's as of now doing from an exceptionally open deceiving embarrassment with her now ex and stints in recovery for compulsion issues to a bunch of other medical problems like Graves' infection. Quite a bit of this finished toward the finish of her daytime profession in 2022, as the star keeps on arranging her rebound with a new digital broadcast anyway. New subtleties have emerged about how her medical issue is by all accounts miles from what her group has been taking care of us. And what's more, these subtleties came from a somewhat more confided in source, her child, Kevin Jur. I'm not one to guide individuals, yet trust me, you would rather not miss any of this. It appears Kevin Jur and Wendy's group may be setting up for a full-scale fight after the young fellow as of late figured out that they had been acting against her well-being. Explicitly, Wendy's group had been driving her once again to work in the midst of her serious well-being concerns. And kid, her child won't have any of it. Wendy Williams initially uncovered her finding of grave sickness in 2018, and she conceded at the time that she wasn't looking out for her own well-being. When it happened, we as ladies, especially assuming we have families, you realize we're dealing with kids, we're dealing with, home, our spouses, we deal with everyone except ourselves, she told Great Morning America at the time, per individuals. And it's truly sad, and that is something that has no financial thing to it regardless of what the lady's status is. It appears as though we are in general in a comparable situation. She said, I'm not doing that any longer. Wendy first anyway. As per news that have emerged from her child, her whole life lately has been everything except Wendy first. Everything began in February 2018. When Wendy opened a significant public conversation about Graves' illness. My thyroid has been absolutely cattywampus. And that is the eye thing that all of you have been seeing. You got it. Before I did, she told the crowd during her show, her CBS News. She additionally made sense of that her hyperthyroidism is associated with the conclusion my hyperthyroid, is connected likewise to Graves' illness. She made sense of Graves' illness presses the muscles behind your eyeballs, as that is the justification for. She then opened her eyes wide to make sense of what that implied, and presently it appears Wendy has returned to where she began, and all on account of her group. Essentially is by all accounts what her child has recently uncovered. Yet you're presumably considering the way that her own child could not have possibly realized this. Well, thing is that Wendy and Kevin Jur weren't exactly friendly. When she began returning to work, different sources near Wendy told the U.S. Child that she and her child stay alienated. And the strain has been working since she left recovery last year. In the expressions of one of said insiders, Kevin isn't in correspondence with his mom. Wendy didn't see little Kevin when she was in Florida. In April, the source made sense of that as of not long ago. Kevin was uninformed that his mom was shooting another unscripted TV drama about her life. She likewise didn't call him when she was coming, yet somebody underway called Kevin's lawyer about the narrative. And that was whenever he first caught wind of her recording. The source made sense of a subsequent source. Guaranteed the last time Wendy saw Kev was in July of last year when he traveled to New York for her birthday. And the last time they talked, she was still in recovery. She didn't call him after she was delivered. And the last time they talked, she was still in recovery. She didn't call him after she was delivered in spite of the troublesome relational peculiarities. The principal insider asserted that Wendy's child, who is lovingly referred to in the family as Little Kev, has been flourishing. He's doing all around well and is attempting to remain on track. and is continuing on with his personal business. He is back in school. He would have graduated as of now in the event that he didn't take off to deal with her last year. Currently, you're most likely thinking about the thing precisely Wendy was shooting. While she should recover very much, how about we simply say it seems to be a family thing Wendy's recording team, as of late neglected that her expected show is set to be delivered this fall. During a visit to her old neighborhood of Asbury Park, New Jersey, one source said they were told by an individual from the creation that the task is explicitly a show which is set to be delivered at some point towards the year's end, and that they were going for the gold as the U.S. Sun already only detailed. An insider said Wendy had gotten together with her father and her sibling while at the same time recording her unscripted TV drama. In addition to the fact that Wendy's camera team along for was the excursion, yet the primary stakeholders in the undertaking were with her too. The insider uncovered it was whenever the previous daytime first syndicated program Sovereign has visited her family in Florida. In about a year, the source guaranteed Wendy was seen recording in different spots in the shoreline local area, including at the famous footpath with a blistering pink Corvette. All the more strikingly anyway, the 58-year-old star was seen leaving her young life home on what was ceremoniously named Wendy Williams Way at a divulging in 2014. It likewise creates the impression that Wendy visited Los Angeles as a component of her recording plan. The previous sovereign of daytime television was seen out in Los Angeles where she halted at the Gucci store. On spring 7th, she was likewise seen visiting her star on the Hollywood stroll of popularity. That very week, the Xtape's unscripted TV drama-style project was first uncovered by the U.S. Sun after she was spotted with a little film group at her #1 Cafe Fresco by Scotto in Midtown. Yet despite the fact that all that seems to be the previous daytime show host may be flourishing, that doesn't appear to be the truth. I didn't concoct that it really came from her own sibling. In an on-camera interview, Wendy's sibling Tommy Williams only recently uncovered his opinion on Wendy's psychological state and how he feels about his renowned sister's partners after certain companions accompanied the star out traveling to Florida in April, proceeding with his tirade of dismay. He said she's so found what her identity was and not who she's become. And clearly she might want to return to who she was on the grounds that she can't quit discussing that individual, her 54-year-old sibling said. As a matter of fact, you might say Wendy's sibling was as resentful about her being back to function as her child, since he didn't conceal it even a tiny bit. So we should all assist you with returning to that individual, yet we haven't had the option to help since she's up in New York around individuals. And we, the family, can't get snares in that frame of mind to reel her into the shore. So she's remaining out there with the sharks. Wendy's disappointed sibling added, this isn't a lady who is in the right mood to get a show rolling. Tommy asked why the film team was even there. For what reason are you even here? Do you see the condition she's in? Does it appear as though she's prepared to begin a digital broadcast? For God's sake, it doesn't. And we will demonstrate the veracity of this, Tommy said of the possible arrival of the creation. And the shock esteem will be where she was and where she is presently. Tommy addressed. Is that going to be the show? Is that it is that what my father needs to anticipate, watching to push our face in the F mark reference bullet asterisking compost. Wendy's baffled sibling considered her flow condition miserable and added that she's in chronic weakness. In a reaction to a solicitation for input, Wendy's chief said Tommy didn't let out the slightest peep to me about any dissatisfaction. So that doesn't sound genuine. Wendy's marketing expert didn't answer the solicitation for input. Tommy had presented a video on his YouTube in the middle between shooting days about how things were going, yet demanded he was attempting to remain good as the days went by. Well, very much like Kevin Jur and her sibling Tommy fans likewise appear to be stressed over Wendy's condition, returning more regrettable in the midst of her being once again to work. Truth be told, one fan truly said they could perceive that she wasn't okay The client composed the show about Wendy Williams that just came out. Man, I feel so terrible for her psychological state and well-being. Will they pay attention to the family and fans and put an attachment on the show, or will they continue totally neglecting her well-being? The reality of the situation will surface eventually, as yet we, in all actuality, do trust she gets the assistance she wants. That is all there is to it for this video. Farewell.